Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Venture capital firm Hack&nbsp recently announced it will present the biannual event, Hack Summit. And for those of you that have not heard of it before, it's essentially a gathering of some of the world's key technical leaders in blockchain and crypto. The event, which has historically been the largest gathering of developers across the globe, is a pure virtual non-for-profit event which aims to educate and encourage the advancement of technology regardless of location or socioeconomic status. And this is what is really exciting for me. The industry knows it's a complex subject, but the speakers will be talking in a language that everyone can understand, and educating ourselves on this transformational change is crucial to mainstream adoption. This year's event is entitled Hack Summit, like I said, and it's going to be held from July the 9th to July the 11th. And the event gathers leading technical founders of Blockchain Foundation to educate the world on important blockchain topics. Attendees are going to have the opportunity to engage with incredibly high-profile speakers at the Hack Summit event, including Jed McCaleb, technical founder of Stellar and Ripple. Then we've got Riccardo, aka Fluffy Pony, technical leader of Monero, Dawn Song, co-founder and CEO of Oasis Labs, and co-founding scientist of Zcash, and so many more. All tickets from the event are going to be donated to the coding non-profits, particularly those that support diversity in coding, which include Women Who Code, Black Girls Code, Free Code Camp, Electronic Frontier Foundation, Coder Dojo, Bridge Foundry, and so many more. And also leading organisations such as Oracle, IBM, Facebook, Microsoft, GitHub, Uber have all supported this cause in previous years. But the good news for you guys listening is I've got a free code for the event. And I'll reveal that at the end of today's interview. But I know what you're thinking. Who is today's guest already? Well, for fans of the blockchain and crypto space, this is a pretty big name. So as he was preparing for his big keynote at the Hack Summit, I convinced the technical leader of Monero onto the show today. But you'll know him better as Riccardo Spagni or Fluffy Pony. So buckle up and hold on tight as I'll beam your ears all the way to South Africa so we can speak with Riccardo Spagni, aka Fluffy Pony, who's going to reveal much more about the Hack Summit and the future of Monero. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Riccardo. Can you tell us a little about yourself and your position at Monero, as well as that broader blockchain space?
I've been involved with Bitcoin since early 2011. I have a dev background, worked my way up to quite a senior position at a listed company here in South Africa. Did not enjoy working for a listed corporate and quit to start an import-export business. And when that grew and became reasonably successful, then it freed me up, became non-operational, and that's how I discovered Bitcoin. I then eventually got involved with Monero early on, which was early 2014. And ended up doing all the stuff that no one else wanted to do. So I became the lead maintainer.
Fantastic. Well, you do have a huge following in the crypto space. And one of the reasons I invited you on today is because you're a headline speaker for the upcoming virtual blockchain conference called hack.summit. I mean, we have people listening that are going to be passionate about the world of crypto. And equally, there are going to be a few that want to learn more about cryptocurrencies, more about blockchain, but are probably a little bit intimidated or too afraid to ask. So can you set the scene and tell me what the virtual blockchain conference Hack Summit is all about?
Sure. So Hack Summit is primarily a conference that is for developers, but obviously I think everyone that's speaking there is cognizant of the fact that there are people who will be watching from around the world who will come from various backgrounds and will have various levels of technical aptitude. So we're going to try to keep things as light and as easy as possible so that it really helps from an accessibility perspective.
I mean, I'm incredibly excited about the blockchain and the crypto space and how it's going to transform every aspect of our life and business. But I also think the key to its success is educating and encouraging mainstream adoption so that everybody gets it and not just a handful of techies. So why did you decide to participate? Is it access to education, something that you're passionate about, or was there a completely different reason?
Yeah, so I'm very passionate about education, especially in the space. I think that it is a complicated space. It's a heavily technical space. But also, when it comes to building decentralized applications, it's not just technical from like a cryptography perspective, but it involves aspects of game theory, aspects of incentives and economics. So you can't even approach this and be like, well, I'm a developer or a cryptographer, and so therefore I understand things. There's all sorts of aspects of it that are outside of a developer's usual wheelhouse. So I think education is critical, even for end users. I mean, how does an end user or a person who's interested in cryptocurrency, how do they determine whether they should be using Bitcoin or Litecoin or Monero or whatever?
So what are some of the things that you're going to be discussing at the event?
So I'm doing a fireside chat, which I think is kind of nice because it's a little bit open-ended and it'll let us discuss all sorts of things.
So in your opinion, what is the importance of events like this, like Hack Summit? Why do you think it's so important?
So from my perspective, one of the things that I find immensely challenging is I have a number of companies. I have a lot of work on my plate, not only with Monero, but with all my companies. And for me to find time to go and get in a plane and fly overseas and attend a conference for 3 days and talk on one of the days is sometimes immensely challenging. So I've tried to reduce my international travel to 2 or 3 trips a year. And that means that I end up speaking at fewer conferences than I would like. So Hack Summit is great because it's a virtual conference, and a lot of the speakers that are speaking are people that I've known for ages. They're peers that I respect in the industry. And to get all of us in the same room is kind of difficult, but now we're able to because of the virtual nature of this. And of course, the fact that it's that if you can't catch the live stream, you can watch a recording later is really advantageous because obviously with time zones, it doesn't always work out that everyone is able to watch the live stream.
There's so many great points you made there about your international travel and the time zones, and we are living in a global community now, and I think because it's a virtual conference, it's also an excellent opportunity for everyone to get involved. But for anyone that is curious about this space, what impact do you believe that blockchain is going to have on everyday people and the way we live in the upcoming years?
Look, I think there's a lot of irrational exuberance right now, and some of it is obviously well-deserved because there really is, I mean, it is quite revolutionary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that some of the advantages of blockchain can be a little bit overstated. Mm-hmm. Blockchain certainly isn't applicable to every single facet of human life. Blockchain is not going to make lawyers and governments disappear overnight. So I think that a lot of people that are excited are a little bit overexcited, and I tend to encourage a little bit of pragmatism and maybe just sort of taking a step back. At the same time, I think that there is a very real opportunity here for blockchain to get rid of middlemen in some situations and to really oust the incumbent in things like processing financial transactions between peers. So there's stuff like that is just exciting, and where blockchain has already started playing quite a big role, and it will continue to do so in the future.
Now, you are someone who is considered a big leader and expert in this space. So what role do you see yourself playing in this industry as it progresses? Do you think it's being that voice of reason and that pragmatic approach?
I hope so. I think that there's, again, like this is a space where irrational exuberance is generally not discouraged, yeah. which from my perspective can be a bit frustrating. I mean, as an example, a little while ago, I read an article that was talking about how first responders to emergency situations often struggle to communicate with other emergency responders and with their home base and so on, and with the JOC and whatnot, because all the cell phone lines are jammed up because everyone's trying to call their family and so on. And blockchain is a way to that and to sort of alleviate this problem, which of course is absolute nonsense because to access anything like that, you need to access the internet. And if you can access the internet, then you could just send a message or make a call over the internet without caring about anything like that. So, I mean, like it's kind of become this hammer that gets used to knock in every single nail, regardless of shape, size, or whether it's a nail at all. And I think like just taking a step back and understanding really what a blockchain is, where it's applicable, why we care about decentralization at all, and what is sufficient decentralization. These are all things that I think anyone building a product should really try and understand, or building a product in this space at least.
I completely understand your frustration there, because I think we've all spent time on Reddit and Telegram with the Lambo and Moon guys looking for those quick, easy gates. I mean, there's just no avoiding them. But I mean, what excites you about the future of blockchain, or just the whole industry? What really makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning and excites you about where we're heading?
I think what's really exciting is seeing people build products that are useful to people, give access to services or provide access to services where people were previously disenfranchised. So, examples of this are situations where Visa and MasterCard, due to whatever strange laws exist, won't provide services to a particular industry, and then Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies make an impact there because people are still able to transact. And we're seeing this play out more and more in all sorts of places, in things like remittance, cross-border remittance, where previously you needed to go and find some service, and that service would charge you, and then your information went to thousands of companies all over the world who all know now where you work and how much you're remitting to your family. And with Bitcoin now, you're able to just move money cross-border in a way that is a lot simpler and a lot cheaper and a lot more efficient. And it doesn't mean that you don't have regulatory burden, or you can use that as a way to avoid declaring money that's coming into the country, but it just means that you can have access to the money immediately and then deal with the regulatory burden afterwards. And oftentimes for people that are remote workers where remittance is important, they can't deal with a week or a week and a half having to fill out forms and go stand in a queue at the bank just to gain access to money.
So is there anything else that you can share with the listeners about the virtual conference, or what the future has in store for yourself and Monero?
So I think the conference, like I said, has got it's got a lot of very interesting people that are talking at it. Some people are people that I've known for many years, and some people are much newer. But they're going to be covering lots of interesting topics, mostly that are technically interesting. But there are things like there's an investor panel with people from Multicoin and Pantera and so on. So, institutional investors and individuals who are interested in hearing the approach that these funds have taken would probably be interested in tuning into that. And then, of course, there's lots of discussion from that benefits devs in terms of how to build on top of blockchains, how to build on existing blockchains. And that's, I think, something quite exciting as well, especially if you are in an environment where your boss is putting pressure on you to go take a look at blockchain technology, then this is definitely something that should be attended. In terms of Monero's future, I'm extremely confident and excited about all the things that the Monero community are building. And I think we're going to see a lot of really interesting things over the next 12 to 24 months, especially from a usability perspective, because Monero can be quite daunting in terms of usability. And that's something that the community is heavily focused on and is hoping to solve in a very real and meaningful way.
Sounds like there's a few teasers there over the next 12 to 24 months, so we'll have to get you back on in a year or so. But before I do let you go, can I just ask that you point the listeners of where they can find out more information about the virtual event, find out more information about Monero, or equally just follow you on Twitter if they want to keep abreast of what's happening in the industry?
Sure. So hack.summit.org is the URL to find out information on who's speaking when, and get links to the live streams and so on. And then for Monero, the website is getmonero.org. And on Twitter, it's @Monero. And I'm Fluffy Pony on Twitter. should be easy to find both of us.
Excellent. Well, I think you hit so many great points there, because we're seeing more and more companies just put blockchain on the end of their company, even though they've nothing to do with blockchain, just to boost their profits. And there's more and more solutions that are saying that they use blockchain. We're actually making it more complex, and it's not necessary at all. And I think having that pragmatic approach and just taking a step back and say, let's think about this, guys, is so important now. So a big thank you for coming on today, and good luck at the virtual summit.
Thank you very much for having me.
It really was great speaking with Riccardo today, and I think it's so important that we have a genuine pragmatic thought leader in this space right now, especially because it's full of all kinds of crazy, especially if you frequent Telegram chats and Reddit groups like I've been known to. But the Hack Summit is much, much more than that. Hack VC and Hack Summit founder Ed Roman said the event disrupts physical conferences with this reimagined online experience. And he said physical conferences in real life typically exist for a business purpose, to maximise profits for their centralised stewards. Indeed, there have been many blockchain conferences over the past year, and that has been their goal. But this is what makes Hack Summit differently, because they believe that is a missed opportunity. And the decentralised nature of blockchain democratises access and eliminates rent-seeking middlemen. That's the whole purpose of it. So Ed believes that the concept should be applied to events as well, and Hack Summit embraces that theme. Essentially, the event is decentralised and has no physical presence. And that is incredibly cool, because speakers from all around the globe are going to unite to focus on providing free technical education. No centralised authority seeks profit, and the event is inclusive of the global community, which consists of 157 countries, without requiring their speakers or attendees to travel. If that doesn't make you want to find out more information about the Hack Summit and tune in over the next few days and educate yourself around this transformational change, nothing will. But I'm not giving up on you just yet, because I have been able to negotiate a free code for the Hack Summit virtual conference for every listener. All you need to do is head over to www.hacksummit.org, register, and then where it says add code, just add the code Fluffy Pony. I'll add it to the show notes too, so you can find it nice and easily. But tune in and let me know what you think by tweeting me at Neil C. Hughes or emailing me directly, techblogwriter@outlook.com. I'd love to know what you get from the event, the takeaways, what you learn. So please remember to let me know how you get on. But that's it for me today, and indeed this week. So have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you bright and early Monday morning. Hopefully England would have progressed to the semi-finals of the World Cup by then. If not, you might notice a slight drop in my enthusiasm Monday morning. But enough for my impassioned rambles. I'll see you all tomorrow, but until then, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.